Good morning. Can't believe we've made it to Thursday, and it's been an incredible week. Incredible week. I want to start this morning, and I've got someone who's going to jump on with me in a couple of minutes, but I want to start this morning with something that's weighing heavily on me. I've been following a couple of threads on different channels, and I'm seeing right now an incredibly high amount of people beating themselves up for all sorts of things, like beating themselves up for indecision, beating themselves up for wrong decisions, beating themselves up for delaying a decision. And it weighs heavily on me because we all do this at one point in time or another. And what really caught my attention was a DM that came to me from Devin. And I'm going to share this DM with you. And because it was just so heavy for me when I saw it. Devin wrote, "I feel like it's too late for me to start my podcast or my YouTube channel and my podcast. Sorry, I'm a little gunky this morning. I waited too long. What other channels do you think I should try?" Devin waited too long to start his YouTube and his podcast. What other channels? Devin, it's never too late. You didn't wait too long. It's just not. And people spend an awful lot of time in here listening to the voice in their head that tells them they missed the opportunity, they missed their shot, they missed their chance. And the reality is you don't miss your chance unless you never take it. You don't miss your shot unless you never step up to the plate or step up to the basket, right? It depends what sports analogy you want. If you're a baseball fan, step up to the plate. If you're a basketball fan, step up to the net. You only miss it if you don't take the shot. And so saying it's too late, you're beating yourself up for not taking action sooner rather than just taking action now. This is how easy it is. You can make the decision to turn something on or off, to do something today. And then the conversation or the thought you have about it is just that. It's a thought. It's because you've no longer sat there in paralysis. You took action. You did something with it. I had a coaching call yesterday, and it was remarkable for me because I recognized one of the things that I do is I beat myself up over certain things, right? We all have our stuff, our baggage. I beat myself up constantly about my weight and my diet. And it's been a lifelong thing for me. And so I have this routine, this story that goes on in my head, right? And I'm constantly beating myself up over decisions I make versus just taking action. And you can't think about what you did yesterday. You can only focus on what you do today and forward. And so you have to make decisions and not have emotional baggage attached to what you didn't do in the past, but only what you're doing in the future and moving forward. So it's not too late to take action and build your YouTube channel. It's not too late to start your podcast. Hell, look at my YouTube channel. Go to look at YouTube. Look at my personal brand, Spanky Moskowitz. That YouTube channel really started last year sometime, and it's still being developed. It's a work in progress. Look at my podcasts. Go to TYC on Apple iTunes, TYC podcast. And you'll see that the podcast really started last summer. I only took action because I was like, why am I delaying? Why am I delaying? But I didn't beat myself up over it, nor did I expect to hit a home run out of the park. I expected to start. And once you start and the wheels are turning, momentum begins. And then you do another thing and another thing. And what happens over time is you develop speed and momentum and inertia, and it's really difficult to slow that down. Really difficult to slow that down. So it's never too late to start. Thank you. Mohammed just messaged me. Yes, this is a bracelet my wife got for me for my birthday. It's Talia, I think is the company. Talia? I think it's Talia. And I don't know where they're based, but it's a name bracelet. And yes, somebody noticed that I'm wearing a new bracelet today. It's got all of my kids' names on it: Carter, Mason, Sydney, Josie, and Owen. And yes, so I do have a new bracelet. Thank you for the observation. So we'll get back to this in a second. For those of you who've been following my content for a while, you have seen this guy on before with me. Alan hit me up one day. He's in Romania, and Cefac. And Alan is, let me move you to full screen here, Alan. There we go. Alan has been kind of following the content for a while that I've been putting out there. And I only started putting out daily content or doing these live morning things because my friend and mentor Gary Vaynerchuk was doing Tea with Gary V, and it started to become very popular. And I'm like, I should do this. Now, I'm not delusional. I do not have Gary V's following. But you know what? The people that do follow me, I think brand-wise and personal, I've got a couple of 100,000 followers around the world. A couple of 100,000 followers is great. But if what I say, if what I deliver impacts one person, and that one person does something with the information and takes action and gets results, then doing this is absolutely for that one person only. So I don't care if 1,000 people see this or if one person sees it, but the one person who saw this and did something was Alan. Alan, I just got to tell you, I loved your message yesterday.
Thank you.
Your message. Can I share the message or part of the message with the audience?
Yes,
so
please.
You DM'd me yesterday, and I loved your DM. It truly warmed my heart. It made my freaking day. And so Alan wrote, and I'll just kind of paraphrase a little bit. Let me pull it up here, and because this was such a personal thing. You were inspired by the way I was doing things. You created a series of interviews to help entrepreneurs and start an online channel and do more video. And tech education nonprofit you founded just received something huge because of this. And I'll let you share what that is. But you took a moment to thank me for being a mentor, for thanking me to you've been following this stuff for a few months, listening to what I'm saying. And Alan, the truth is it was you, not me. You did the work. You took the action that made it happen. Something that I said may have resonated with you that made you take the action, but you took the action. And what happened? So share with everyone what's been going on, because this made my day.
Yeah, so I hope you can hear me well.
I can.
I hope my connection is good enough. Yeah, so everything started, I don't know, 1 year ago. More than 10 months ago, when I heard you in a podcast saying that if someone needs help or feels the way I'm feeling or thinks the way I'm thinking, you should reach out. So I did, and I had a great call with you, a great short call, and I was telling you that I'm doing marketing for 17 years. I had an agency. I switched to nonprofit, but the passion is still there, and I would like to reignite the marketing part. And my question then for you was, what is there else to say? Because we have a lot of information, everything is out there. And you said everyone listens to a voice. You can be a voice for the followers, for the people that will hear what you have to say. And it was great. It was inspiring. I tried to do some things, but still, it was a real fear of judgment from the professionals I worked with for 17 years, for the youngsters that came up right now and try new things, and maybe they have more courage to do some things, to expose themselves. I'm 37, so it was a fear of exposure. And then COVID came and everything fell down because companies that support our nonprofit pulled down their support because they had something to do with their employees, their reassigning budgets.
Sure.
The marketing business, again, same thing. A lot of clients. If you don't have clients, you don't afford to pay a consultant or an agency. And I was feeling really down. And listening for the podcasts, I saw your everyday morning coffee, and I start watching and rewatching and rewatching. And the way that you, and this is a compliment at your age, and this is really a compliment.
53. I am 50 freaking 3 years old. So damn right. No, go
Yeah.
ahead.
You have the courage to expose, you have the courage to take action when everything is not great, when I'm sure you have your own issues to solve.
Yep.
For me, this was inspiring. And like you said earlier, you just have to start. But my problem was that no one around me thinks the way you think. All my friends have jobs. Some of them are entrepreneurs, but they have different businesses. They work in different environments. So my only anchor was in your videos and your podcasts, and that's why I felt gratitude yesterday, and I wanted to thank you because everything you said, and I've saved a video that I really watched it again and again and again because it was really inspiring. It's on Instagram. Who follows you on Instagram can easily find it. Uh, I found a lot of wisdom, a lot of energy in what you said. I was inspired. I started doing this podcast. I did the first interview. I've edited. I posted. Everyone was really impressed and happy, and a lot of entrepreneurs reached out to me to tell me, "Wow, it's great what you did. Tell me, what should I use for a live stream? What should I use for my podcast? What do you pay it? Do you do it for free? You use OBS?" So my learning this was an inspiration and was a value for others. So first, this was a step that I took, and then I've started to rediscuss my partners. I've started to try to offer value for the partners for the of the NGO. We do coding courses for free. We are like code.org in United States.
Sure.
And we are their partners here in Romania. So I've started sending emails to our longtime partners and said, okay, you've been with us for such a long time. I would like to offer for your children employees, for your employers' children. I think I'm saying it right.
Children, the kids of the people who work there.
Yeah, free coding courses, because it's a hard time for you. It's a hard time for them being at home, taking care of children, cooking, Zooming, doing business, solving tasks. So we would like to take this from you and give you some free online coding courses for your employers' children. And one thing led to another, and we had a discussion with our longtime partner. And yesterday it's public. Since yesterday it's public, we've received a 200K grant from google.org.
Now, just I want everyone to let that sink in. You received a $200,000 grant from Google. That's real shit for doing something good in the world. And that's, Alan, that is so critical because people miss that. Like, you can do something good and give it away and look what comes back to you. And you did it with no expectation, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the amazing thing. You put it out there and just remarkable things happen. And that's what happened, man. And I got to tell you, yesterday I was sitting in my office and I actually had tears in my eyes when I saw your thank you note. because I don't deserve the credit for it. You do. You did the work, but I'm so grateful that you were inspired to do something and you took it and ran with it, because that is super fucking cool.
I know I did it. I know it seems really easy, but in that moment I was really stuck. I have a team that I have to support. I cared about keeping the team during these times, salaries, taxes. I've sold my Mac. Even now, I'm speaking from my iPad. I've sold my Mac 1 month ago. So having your videos really put me back and remembered and make me remember that I should take action, not just let everything sink.
Yes.
I hope I was clear enough.
You
But I really
absolutely clear enough. Absolutely clear enough. So Alan, that is just the coolest thing ever. I'm curious, what video on Instagram did you see that you keep watching again? Because I want to make sure that if people are wanting to see that, I can just say, okay, which video is it? And you can always message me later. And then while you're looking for that, I want to answer Alfredo's question. Alfredo said, first, this hits home. You want to start your podcast, and could I go into which software to use for audio and video podcasts? And Alan, he says, great story. Thank you. See, you brought value to someone else. Alfredo, here's what I do. And by the way, what I do doesn't necessarily mean it's the right thing for you. It's just what I do. And so what I do is I record everything on video. Everything is video, and video first, because once I have video, that's my pillar, that's my foundation. And then from there, we can strip away the audio. Typically, the audio goes into Adobe Audition, and there's no editing done to the podcast. Generally, it's an introduction gets put on it, the music, the open with Jim Cutler, the voice, Jim Cutler. For those of you who have heard it's good to have friends in the broadcast industry. That's all I'm going to say. But then it gets pushed onto Anchor. Anchor is the platform we use to do mass distribution, RSS, real simple syndication. And Anchor then distributes it to the however many podcast channels it's on. Google, Apple, iTunes. I mean, I'm trying to think of all of them off the top of my head, but there's like a gazillion of them, and it pushes it out there. So that's how the audio gets done. How the video gets done is really simple. There's a couple of ways. This piece right here, Alfredo, will be turned into what's called micro content. So just this segment right now that I'm talking to you about, Troy, our main video editor, is probably going to take this segment, and you're going to see this segment show up in content on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram as a piece of micro content. We chop it down, and this could be a 2-minute piece. It could be a 30-second piece. It could be a 60-second piece on TikTok, right? And so we create these little pillars of content. I'm using a model that I did not create. I'm using Gary Vee's content model, and I'm simply following the process of documenting everything I do. And then that documentation turns into content, which turns into value, which turns into Alan getting a fucking $200,000 deal from Google. That's how this works.
To teach students about online safety. So this is the video Overcome Doubt with Action. So this is on Instagram, but it was earlier in this group on Facebook. And just like the other videos that you put here, I'm sure anyone can relate with 90% of what you're saying.
For sure.
If you have the courage to say and discuss what you're discussing here. So I thank you for that.
You're welcome. And thank you for joining me every day when I do these. And on the days where I don't do them, I don't beat myself up over it. Right. And so that goes right back to what I started with about beating yourself up. You can spend an awful lot of time beating yourself up for not taking action on something, or you can just take action. And are there days where I can't make it to this? Yes. I have family. I have life. I have 5 kids. I had my son's graduation celebration last night through our community. And we literally, I have to make decisions day by day, hour by hour, to make a decision and determination as to what I have time to do. But I can't beat myself up over inaction. All I can do is focus on doing something tomorrow or today, right now, and take action on it, which you did. And I'm so thrilled, and I'm glad you shared that. And again, I'm going to save that. I may literally screenshot and frame that and hang it on my fucking wall in the office, because I love your message. It was so heartfelt. It made my day, and I shared it with the team, and it was remarkable. So thank you for that.
Thank you. That's why I wanted to send you the message and to tell you that, because it's important for you to know that you've impacted someone in the other part of the world.
Well, and I'm thrilled, and if I get to Romania anytime soon, between you and now Vlad, who's helping me with some stuff there, I may have to make a trip once all this chaos is over, and pay a visit to you in Romania. Plus, I want to see the Count's castle.
Okay.
Come on.
I will take you there for sure.
All right. Awesome, Alan. Thanks for jumping in today. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. So that's it. And I see Komodo Mouth. Is that who I'm seeing in Hey, listen, everybody's got a screen name, right? But I'm going to just pop them in here and see what's up. Hey, good morning. What's up?
Hello, Spanky.
Hey.
Hey there. It's nice to get to know you.
Nice to have you on. What can I do for you?
Oh, don't forget to subscribe to my channel.
Okay. Awesome. That's it?
Yeah, subscribe to my channel.
You got it. All right. And out we go. That is awesome. So, listen, not every day you're going to have quality. You're just going to have quantity and volume, and sometimes you get that. It's all good. Anyway, Alan, thank you for jumping in today. I appreciate you, man. If you've got questions or want to jump in right now, you can, and it's really easy to do. 480-712-4177. You can jump in that way. 480-712-4177 to text, or you can jump in on the comments or join the live stream. You can simply click the link in the live stream. Did I not put the link up? I'm sorry. You win some and you lose some. That's right. You do. You win some and you lose some. I did not put up the live stream link yet. If you want to join the live stream, if you have a question you want to ask Alfredo, this would be a great time. If you want to have a conversation about it, you're welcome to jump in as well. And the message from Alan is definitely echoing for a lot of people. And, you only have one day at a time to live and do you, and spending time dwelling on your past and dwelling on what you didn't do is such a waste. Like, I could have started this years and years ago, and I chose not to. Well, I didn't know to, but I started it. And once I started it, you build momentum. But I remember distinctly having, Alfredo, I'll get to you in a second. I see you there, buddy. I remember distinctly having a conversation with my dad, and I wish I could bring my dad into this live stream because we could have this conversation. I remember telling my dad one day, man, I wish I had left the radio industry sooner. And, when I made the decision December 7th, 2010 to jump ship from the industry, I knew that was the moment for me to just do my own thing. And I wish I had left sooner. And my dad said to me, you wouldn't have been ready. You left when you were ready. You left at the right time. And so you can't beat yourself up over the decisions or indecisions of your past. You can only take action today, right now, and move forward. And that's it. That's all you can do. Alfredo, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Nice to
How are you?
Touch bases with you.
And you.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to reach out as somebody that's brand new, like literally brand new into this marketing world. Spent a couple of dollars, a few thousands on education. I met you through LMV with Jason and James. So just starting out, I literally have a regular job trying to do the marketing. I think I've sent you a couple messages before. um, and just trying to plug in, trying to stay focused, not get caught up with all the shiny objects. I don't know if you hear my heart, hear my message a little bit.
I do.
So yeah.
You know, there's a lot of and I love the word shiny objects, but there's a lot of people out there. There are a lot of people that are gurus, right? That have a lot of knowledge and information, and they can tell you the right way to do things, the wrong way to do things. At the end of the day, you have to do what's in here
Right.
and do it your way. You know, it's funny when I started Ad Zombies, I went with my gut as far as our advertising and marketing goes. Now, I have a history of being in that business, right, from the radio side of things, from the broadcast side, and got to work with some incredible brands throughout my career. And so I have the education of street smarts, but I didn't have the formal education that a lot of people think you need to do this. And what you need is less formal education and more street tactics, right? You need to be able to hold a fight. And you have to learn these things as you go. So sometimes you could learn a lot from gurus and get a lot of information from gurus, but until you become a tactician, until you start doing this stuff and getting your hands dirty, it's real hard to get a feel for what works and what doesn't. And so what struggle or challenge are you having right now, this moment?
I think it's been like a process for me. I tell you, what's been a real confident booster is drinking my own Kool-Aid, I like to say. For example, I finally got my first customer and I priced it out where he's paying for the product for my business as well. So I'm doing his multimedia, doing mine, and really seeing the benefit. I'm like, man, that just boosted my confidence big time.
Yeah,
So
every win, you feel that inertia.
yeah. So it's simplifying the process of look, it's just prospecting, presentation, and closing with a couple bridges of like, okay, you got to get appointments to do presentations, you got to close the deal to do the fulfillment, and it's just finding, especially because I work 80 hours a day on my job, whatnot, you know, getting that bridge, like, okay, like some of my videos you might see, you see the bags under my eyes, because I'm trying to do both and just simplifying the process and prospecting and just keep going and keep learning. And I've literally fell right on my face. I'm like, okay, what did I learn from that? Okay, let's just keep going. Just trying to find that path of least resistance to customers, to add value, to help them.
The way you're talking to me right now, that's how you do it. See, people want real. They want truth. They want people who are sincere. That's the most sincere thing I've heard, right? You want to just help and add value, but when you approach a customer that way or a prospect that way in your business, you lead with that. Don't lead with the sales and the opportunity. No, lead with, hey, I want to help you. Look, I'm a small business owner too. I get it. And you start there. But the sincerity in your voice, like that comes through. But does it come through in your messages to the potential client, to the prospect?
Okay.
The more that comes through, the more you're going to accelerate because it's who you are. That's your soul, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are days that you don't feel like doing this. Guess what? Don't do it those days because you're not going to feel it.
Right.
And don't beat yourself up because you didn't do it. Just do it the next day.
Mm-hmm.
But bring your heart to your business every day, and amazing things will happen. Like there are days where Alfredo, there are days where I don't want to come into the office, even with this, and I love what I do. There are just days where shit happens, and I've got 1,000 other things on my mind, and my wife is dealing with kids, and we've got a challenge with this one, but you show up and you do what you've got to do, and you grind through it. And then there are days where you just go, you know what? I'm not going to be my best if I do this today. I'm not going to do it. and you make decisions based on how you feel. You know your presentation, you know your energy, and just don't show up that day, great. But don't beat yourself up for it. Show up the next day and have 1,000 times the energy. But show up authentic. Show up real. The more real you show up for people, the more they're going to respect you and trust you. People know, like, and trust people that are real. And that for you is going to be a key to unlocking sales, building client relationships. I made a phone call this morning on my way to the office. We have a client who, you can't read tone in an email. And I want to make certain this client didn't read tone of someone on my customer service team, didn't read tone into that email. So I personally called them, and I want them to hear from me and my voice, my energy, because I am the face of the brand. It's my company. Same thing for you, man. Bring yourself authentically every day to these new clients, to these prospects. And it's amazing what will happen in your business, because people will go, I want to work with that guy.
Okay.
And, if you're 9 to 5, it's 80 hours a week is your 9 to 5?
No, I'm a truck driver. So
Okay.
for example, today I leave the house at 4 and I come back tomorrow at like about 2 in the afternoon.
So what happens when you stop driving? Do you have like mandatory downtime?
No, it keeps going because I have a partner, so it just switches.
So you tag,
yeah.
So you tag team, and then you sleep while the other person's driving.
Well, no. So I deliver product to franchisees for Domino's.
Okay.
So we're just constantly moving.
You're in a machine, a production machine.
Yeah. So yeah, podcasts, books, Audible is my best friend. Podcast, my best friend. Like literally, like I'm a driving university. Trying to educate, trying to learn mindset, all that jazz.
Yeah, you're a 4-wheel or an 18-wheel university. But use that time also to when you're driving or when you're in the passenger seat, if you've got a lot of thoughts about business or ideas, what are you doing to capture those?
So I bought this.
Yeah.
And literally, if I'm at a stop and an idea comes to me, like I'm writing it. I'm like, okay, do this, or here's an idea. It's crazy. Just ideas come to you, that creativity, and and that's why the podcast today and the message is like, man, that's like right up, hit home.
Yeah. By the way, when you're driving, when I say driving, passengering, using this to record your thoughts and ideas is also great, because oftentimes my best podcast content comes from me using Otter. I use Otter AI, and that turns into a podcast, and it turns into written word for the blog. By the way, let me go back to that for a second. Right off the lead today, I talked about not beating yourself up, and I'm going to pull this up again from Devin. That he felt it was too late for him to start his YouTube and podcast. What other channel should he try? Here he is beating himself up over this. And the reality is that I beat myself up for letting our blogs kind of drift during the start of COVID, and we haven't been consistently blogging. And so I was sitting there going, damn it, idiot. You got so much great content out there. Why aren't you sharing this? Why aren't you putting this out as blogs? Right? Because it's just human nature. You beat yourself up over the things you miss, the opportunities you miss, rather than just saying, all right, fuck it, tomorrow's a new day. And so this content right here, right now, the stuff that we're doing today can turn into long form blog, can turn into podcast. It can turn into microcuts, all of those things. So when you're in that passenger seat and you've got thoughts or content that you want to share, because what you share has value to someone who's further behind you in their journey than you are. Document all that stuff, because that content is gold. And you may look at it and go, this is stupid shit. But I'm telling you, listen, when I shared the story of my dinner with Gary Vee in October of 2017, I'm like, who the fuck is going to read this story? Who is going to care about this dinner? And I happened to have Rachel Peterson, who she and I have become friends. She was at dinner too that night. That story has been shared, and that the Gary Vee effect on my business has been documented on LinkedIn and other channels. And so there's a story there that has value to others.
Right.
And to me, I thought, God, this is so stupid that I'm sharing this. Who's going to give a shit? And at first it was like maybe a couple of hundred people over the course of a few months. And then it was a few thousand people. And now it's a few 100,000 people. And so your influence will grow as well. But share that stuff, man. Just put it out there, because your content is going to help you grow as well. And don't just be a student, be a teacher.
Okay.
Be a student and a teacher, because the university rolls both ways.
Right. Awesome. Thank you.
Alfredo, thank you, man. I appreciate you jumping in with me today. Great to see your face. And listen, I'll take a medium. No, never mind. Take care.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So there you go. It's never too late to start. Don't beat yourself up, and just do it. Just start. And starting today is all you have. The things you didn't do yesterday, you can't undo. You can't fly backwards and make the world spin backwards and go back. You can only move forward. So start it today and stop beating yourself up, because there's a lot more in front of you than there is behind you. Unless you're like me, because I'm 53. I think there's less in front of me, but who gives a shit? My family, they're a bunch of old people. They live a long time. So I plan on doing the same. All right. You guys have an amazing day. I will catch you tomorrow. I think, fingers crossed, everything goes well. I appreciate you. And if you have any questions or comments, you can always drop them afterwards, and I'll get to you. All right. Have an amazing Thursday. Go out and crush it. Take care.